YouTube long time seller here, and this is part 2 of First Own Auto Parts. And this is the vehicle we'll be dismantling, and I'm going to go over the process with you. I'll give you a quick overview of what we do, how we do it, why we do it, and then part 3 will be where we start actually dismantling the system. So first thing we do is when we get a vehicle in is we record the mileage, we get the VIN number, and we create an inventory code. What I do for my inventory codes is the first 3 letters of the vehicle, such as Mercury Mountaineer. I'm using Mercury M-O, Mercury Mountaineer. So that's how we do. Like a Kia Rio is K-R-I, and Honda Accord, H-A-C. So we use the first 3 letters, gives us an idea of which vehicle it is. Then we put a 4-number code, which is the last 4 of the VIN. And then the last 4 numbers are a consecutive numbering order system for our parts. And I will show you that when I go inside and take you in how I do my parts inventory. Now, the next step that we do is we've already given a brief visual and looked at it before we bought the vehicle and know what we're getting. And the next thing we do is we power it up. This one does not have a battery. I will be putting a 12-volt power supply in here. And I want it to power up because I want to check all the gauges, the lights, the switches, the radio, all the electronic devices like that, so I know what's working and what isn't. Heated mirrors, power seats, because all that stuff's coming out. All that stuff is going to be sold. So I'm going to power up and test everything. That's the second step. The third step is when I start dismantling this, is I will come along and I will take everything exterior that is sellable, such as the mirrors, the antenna, the roof rack, trim, the logo, the lights, all that stuff is in. What I'm doing is I'm pulling the quick sell items such as headlights, tail lights, mirrors, things that normally get damaged in a vehicle and need to be replaced. And that's my fast sell items. So I will take the outside and I will remove those fast sell items. And then the next step is I move to the interior, and I do the same thing in the interior. I'm moving the dash cluster, the trim, bezel, radio, switches, things like that. The only thing I'm not really touching too much is the door. I may remove the inner door panel and stuff, but I want to make sure that I can still open and close my door. Since I'm stripping this outside, I want it to remain watertight inside for as long as possible. And so anyway, I will remove the quick sell items from the inside. So I've removed the quick sell items from outside, listed them, and then same thing with the interior. And what we do is we generate that quick fast sell, those fast selling items, recoup our original expense, because we want the money that we spent for the vehicle go back in the kitty for our next vehicle. Now the next thing after I do all the parts on the inside, I'll go to a deeper inside, such as maybe seats, steering wheel, trim panel, interior, the seatbelt assembly, things like that. Things that are take a little more work and a little slower sell, but I'm still going to sell, so I'll pull those. And then once I've got the inside mostly gutted like that, I'm going to move on to where I'm going to pull all the fluids out of the vehicle. I'm going to drain the engine oil. I'm going to drain the transmission. I'm going to pull refrigerant, and I don't vent the refrigerant. I have a recovery machine and a recovery tank, and I will pull the refrigerant because we recycle that and use this in our automotive repair shop. The gas, and not the gas, but the oil and the transmission fluid and power steering fluid and the coolant will all be disposed of at my brother's shop, where we recover everything, and we have people come up and pick up those fluids. Now, the next thing I'll do is I will check the catalytic converters. Some catalytic converters are worth a whole lot, some are not. Now, since this is going to be a complete strip for us and we're going to scrap this at the end, I will probably pull the catalytic converter. A lot of times we leave the catalytic converter on a car because once we strip everything, we put the car on Facebook, and a lot of times we can sell the car for $100 or $200 to a scrapper that wants to come and get it. And the main thing they want is a catalytic converter. And so we always leave that on a car that we're going to sell on Facebook. That way we don't have to haul it off. We don't have to haul it to the scrapyard. Somebody else comes in behind us after we've taken our stuff. They take their stuff and they get their money. But since this will be a complete strip, I'm going to be removing all the fluids. I will be removing the catalytic converter and sell it. I'm going to pull the engine. This has got a 4.0 V6, a good little engine from Ford. It has 175,000 miles on it. It is run. It does run. This car was running when it was parked. It was, she got an inspection sticker 2014, so it's been sitting for 11 years, and it was at an estate sale. So anyway, I will pull the engine and the transmission, and those will be sold locally on Facebook, and that'll be the next step. And then after I have the engine and transmission out, I will pull the complete engine wiring harness. I will pull the light wiring harnesses and the transmission wiring harnesses and ECMs, because all those will be sold. The wiring harnesses will be sold. The ECMs and PCMs will all be sold as well. Now, after I've done the engine and the transmission and removed everything out of the engine bay, all the wires and the harnesses and everything that I'm going to sell out of here, and that's completely gutted, I will move back into the inside, and this is where like seats will come out, and the entire interior chassis wiring system will come out, because that's going to be sold as well. Same thing with the wiring harnesses underneath and the wiring harnesses on the back. All right, so once I've got all that done, I've got most of these sellable parts done. Now I can take off my door handles and knobs and things like that that may keep it from opening and closing, because I'm not worried about keeping it weatherproof. Now I've got everything out. And I will also list on Facebook doors, fenders, hood, glass. I will put that on there and see if we have any takers that people want to come and get it. And if somebody wants a door or a hood or a rear door, something like that, they can come and get it. I'll pull it off for them, and we'll generate a cash sale right there. Then the very last thing I'm going to do to this vehicle is the wheels and tires, because I have a lot of value in these tires here. These are really good tires here. Goodyear Wranglers on aluminum wheels, an easy $1,500 in tires and stuff. So what I'll do is I will go find 4 cheap steel rims with booger tires and put them on there, and just it may cost me $100 for some old junky wires, tires, and wheels, but it's okay, because I'm going to recoup my money off of this, because I'm going to want tires and wheels on it, because I need to drag this to the scrap yard. It's a half a mile from me down the road, and to scrap this at the very end once I'm done, have everything done. Once I've pulled every single part and sold every part that I can, and if I don't sell some doors and stuff and nobody wants them, it's not a big deal. It's scrap weight. It will go right to my scrap yard. I'll write them a bill of sale. Couple $100 at the end of the day for that, after I've pulled every single thing off of here. Now, there are some things that we don't sell, and I will sell seatbelt and seatbelt harnesses and stuff, but what we do not sell is airbags and the airbag controller. You can become licensed. You can get your automotive recyclers certification to sell that stuff. It's a lot of steps, it's a lot of trouble, a lot of work. I don't care to do that. I don't want the liability with airbags, because if you sell an airbag and you have this dealer's license and you sell an airbag and somebody's in a wreck and they get hurt and the airbag doesn't deploy, it can come back on you. So as a safety deal, we're not going to touch that. And a lot of times we won't sell seat belts themselves unless they're in really, really good shape. And a lot of times what we're doing is just the electrical part, where your buckle goes in and that connector, and that's the part that fails the most. And that's usually what we'll sell. We usually won't sell the whole seat belt unless somebody requests and needs it. And that will be when we're selling the sheet metal and things like that. So that's what we don't touch. Okay. Now I'm going to take you inside and let me show you my inventory system, and then the next step, the next video you'll see, this thing will start coming apart. I'll show you parts I pull, why I pull, and how we sell.